This week's furniture video is a true restoration. I found these 3-tier Heywood-Wakefield end tables. They're sometimes called the surfboard tables because of the shape of the two bottom tiers. If you've seen my videos before, you know I would never paint something like this. So I'm going to try my hand at a true vintage restoration. You can see that the finish is really failing on these. In fact, it's just crumbling off. Take a look at how easy it comes off. I'm guessing these must have been in someone's garage because I can't imagine having them in your house like this. It's also possible that they sat out in the Arizona heat for a while, but either way, I'm going to have to get this old finish off. I started with my scraper just for fun, and if I get a little bit of muscle behind it, I can take it down to the bare finish. But I really need to take these apart in order to do a thorough restoration. So I'm going to go ahead and take them apart. I'm filming this entire process, so I will make sure that I know how to put them together again once I'm done. And I'm going to make sure and keep the pieces for each set together and separate because vintage furniture needs to go back together exactly as it comes apart in order for everything to fit together and work. This style of table was originally produced by Heywood-Wakefield in the 1940s. Now, I didn't find a maker's mark on these, so I can't guarantee that they are 100% Heywood-Wakefield, but if they are reproduction, they are an excellent set. The quality of the wood, the color of the stain, everything has that true vintage Heywood-Wakefield look and feel. There was only one piece out of both sets that needed some repair, so I was able to fix it easily with just a little bit of wood glue, wiping away the excess, and then clamping it tight and letting that dry. Before sanding off the old finish, I did give it a good cleaning and a wipe down. This gives me an opportunity to do an inspection, and I didn't find any major concerns. I used my orbital sander to remove the old finish, and I put foam pads on it to do around the edges without damaging those gorgeous curves, and I did a little bit by hand. Now, in order to get that Heywood-Wakefield color, I needed to order the stain online, but unfortunately, all that arrived at my house was an empty box. The bottles had fallen out. It ended up taking over a month to get the product, but while I was waiting, I did manage to finish some other projects that I had sitting in my garage and make some sales, so it wasn't time wasted. And finally, the stain and the top coat arrived. I wanted to test them on a few of the smaller parts that would be less visible, so I gave them one final sand, cleaned them really good, and let them dry thoroughly. And then I got ready to apply the Heywood-Wakefield reproduction stain. This is produced by a company called WeRefinish out of Pennsylvania. I put a little bit of it in a container with a lid. It is water-based, so this way I can cover the container when I'm not using it to avoid any evaporation and loss of product. I'm using these stain applicators that I picked up at Home Depot to put this on, and here we go. I'm just going to dip it in there and get a generous amount on my sponge and then start wiping it on. So far, I can tell you, I think this product was worth the wait. It is going on just beautifully. The color looks right. I did a good job sanding this. I don't see any scratches, swirl marks. Being careful around the edges. Eventually I will need to stain both sides of this piece, but I'm starting with the side that will be most visible. When I'm putting the stain on, I can wipe it on in any direction, making sure to get thorough coverage, but I want to finish by going in the direction of the grain, making sure I get any excess off of the edges in the back. And then I'm using this clean rag to wipe off the excess, and then I'll let it sit and dry. It needs to dry at least 6 hours before I put the second coat on. Looks good so far. All right, this is what it looks like when it's dried. Not very different from just the raw wood. I can see a difference in person. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but let's go ahead and work on finishing the rest of this one piece. The product really does go on nice and smooth. It is a fast drying product, so I do need to work quickly in order to get it on, and I need to keep going over the entire piece to make sure that it doesn't dry before I have the entire application on. One of the mistakes that I made early on when I started staining, especially with water-based products, is not using enough of the product. You really need to make sure that you get a thorough application, and I've learned that I can go in multiple directions across the grain to make sure I don't miss any spots, as long as I end by going with the grain. And you can see I do this technique where I kind of lift a little at each edge to prevent the product from accumulating and going down that curve. Almost like a little airplane landing and taking off is the way I've heard it described. Once I've got it on there, I'll go over it again, just make sure I didn't miss any spots. Then I'll come with a rag to wipe off any excess, and I'll let it sit and thoroughly dry for at least 6 hours. This is the champagne color. The Heywood-Wakefield reproduction stains come in both champagne and wheat. I think the champagne is a little bit darker, a little bit more of that really pretty kind of orange golden tone. All right, I'm going to use that same process to stain all of the pieces of this one side table. After the first layer of stain is dried, I came in and inspected the wood, and unfortunately I found a few spots where I didn't remove all of the old finish. You can see that the new stain over the old finish is kind of shiny versus where it was on the bare wood. So what I'm going to have to do is sand those sections one more time. I am using a 320 grit sandpaper to kind of just very gently lift off that old finish, and then I'm going to go over the entire piece and try to blend the areas that I just sanded with those around them to get a consistent look and color. Making sure that I finish off by once again doing long strokes in the direction of the grain, cleaning off all of that sanding dust really thoroughly and letting it dry before I go in and apply another coat of stain. Okay, fingers crossed that these spots that I sanded don't stand out, and so far so good. It looks like this is going on nice and evenly. Once the first coat had dried, I came back in with a second coat because I definitely needed the color to be a little bit darker and deeper. I'm taking care to work outside only when there's no wind and it's not very hot. Before moving to the second set, I did find a few places where I wanted to add just a little bit of wood filler to fill in some cracks. So I did that on these two edges, made sure to wipe off any of the residue right away so it just goes inside those little cracks. I don't think they'll be noticeable at all once I'm done staining it. I also found a spot where there was a dark mark coming through, so I just melted a little bit of a wood blending stick. It's waxy, kind of like a crayon, so I just let that dry and then sanded it down. I'm going to test the top coat on one of the smaller pieces that's less visible, and I have one of the bottoms upside down here so you can see an area that I did not refinish. The little leg right there, that is the original color and finish, and that's what I'm trying to make sure that I'm matching. By keeping that piece original, it gave me a nice color sample to compare my final product to. The top coat, it looks like it's going to go on really pretty, and the color looks very close to me. So far, so good. So here we go with the top coat. I'm using a foam applicator for this. Once again, it's water-based, so it dries really quickly. So I'm trying to do this in the mornings when it's in the mid-70s and there's no breeze, so there won't be any dust or debris blowing onto them. I want to get a nice solid coat on it, just kind of a base coat. So I'm going to go all the way around the top, and then I'm going to come in with a little bit more of the product and do some long sweeps top to bottom going with the grain. This is my first coat, so it doesn't have to be perfect, but the better I get the first coat, the better the second and third coats will look. And once I've got it in place, this needs to dry a minimum of 4 hours before I can come in and sand and recoat it. All right, let's do the same process now on the large pieces. I did not sand after staining. I didn't want to remove any of the stain, and the instructions for the product said not to, so I'm just going to go ahead and start applying the top coat. Now this top coat, you'll notice it has a little bit of a color to it. It's very subtle. What the individual who created this said that they did is they added just a little bit of color to it so that it has kind of that vintage amber look that you would see on older furniture. And if I wanted to make my furniture darker, I could add a little bit of the stain to the top coat at this point in the process as well, but I don't think I need to. This is what it's looking like with the first coat of that on. You can see it's got a beautiful kind of satin finish, just a little bit of shine to it. It's looking pretty good. You can see a few streaks when I look at it from the side here, so I'm definitely going to need to follow the instructions and sand in between coats. So I've got a 320 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to go over the entire surface of each of the pieces. This removes any streaks, any drips, any spots that it didn't go on evenly, and it also is going to help the next layer adhere to it. Blow that dust away and then wipe everything off. Now here's an example. It might be kind of hard to see, but there were a couple places where I had some drip marks. And see those little white spots that showed up when I was sanding? That's where the application of the top coat was not even, and it dried kind of almost like little puddles. So I'm having to go over it with my sanding block. I tried a 320, but it wasn't doing what I needed it to do. So I went down to a 220 grit sandpaper in order to get all of those little white spots removed, but not remove the top coat from the piece of furniture. So you definitely don't want to use your orbital sander for this. Always use your hand sander, and take a look at it from every angle to make sure that you've removed any little bump or imperfection. Clean off all the dust, dry them thoroughly, and then come in with your second coat of the top coat. After I get the second coat on, I'll need to let it dry a minimum of 4 hours, and then I'll repeat the process, sanding it very gently again. This time I'm not seeing any of those little raised bumps. Clean it, and then come in with my final coat. With the final coat, it is important to make sure that I get it on nice and smooth and I don't miss any spots. I also used a new brush for the final coat just because the other one had a little bit of buildup on it from using it for the 2 previous coats. And now, once I'm done with this, I will get to repeat this entire process on the other side table. The last step is optional, but I do this with almost every one of my pieces. I use the brown paper packing from the Amazon boxes. You can also use brown paper bag. It's like a super fine sandpaper, and I just gently go over the entire top of the furniture. This just buffs down any little minor spots or streaks that might be there and really truly gives you a super soft, smooth finish. Look at this finish. I am very impressed with this product, and I'm very proud of myself. This exceeds my expectations in terms of how these pieces would look when I am done. They're so pretty and so smooth and soft. Now it's time to put everything back together. Thank you so much for watching my videos and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it. I'm close to almost 2,000 subscribers, which may not seem like a lot to some people, but I never thought I would have that many people watching my videos, and I absolutely love it when you leave comments, let me know what you think, and give me ideas. I'm still learning, I'm still trying to get better. Let's do this together. So thank you guys so much. And if this is the first video that you've watched, make sure you go watch a couple of my others, and if you like them, subscribe and share and help me reach 2,000 subscribers. All right, remember what these look like? Stained with a failing finish. Definitely, they had seen better days. Well, let's go back to the 1940s. And here we go. They're so beautiful. You know, I probably paid a little bit too much for these. I did pay $200, but I'm thinking I might keep these. They are just beautiful. I love the lines, the curves. I love everything about them. Here they are in my living room, and you'll notice that the color matches this Heywood-Wakefield desk that I have that I will be refinishing the top for a future project. Thanks so much for watching this week. See you next time.